Welcome to NFT Nation, the most relatable and reliable NFT and crypto podcast in the nation. I'm your host, Michael Wheeler, here with my co-host, Alex Ferguson.
What's going on, guys?
So pretty much we want to welcome everyone back to NFT Nation's Bitcoin Bulletin, where we explain the most recent and important news surrounding Bitcoin and the crypto market as a whole. And pretty much today we are going to be talking about how the recent topic of the Bitcoin Bonnie and Clyde kind of drama in news and everything surrounding that. But before we start, here's how the crypto market has done this week. And it's actually different from when we normally talk about the crypto market. It's actually doing pretty well this week. We have Bitcoin at $43,000, up around 15%. We have ETH breaking 3,000 at up 13%. We have Binance Coin up around 10%. XRP up a whopping 35%. Cardano up 8% and Solana up 3% this week. And also, you can't forget Avalanche up around 30%. So obviously, this week has been very, very good for
Pretty
crypto
good gains across the board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But before we get started in the episode, we like to say that everything mentioned in this podcast are the personal opinions of the host and not meant to be taken by any sort of financial advice. So, Michael, why don't you go ahead and get started talking about that Bonnie and Clyde kind of deal that was going on within the crypto space?
So pretty much the main story surrounding this is that the United States Government Justice Department says that it seized $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin stolen from a 2016 hack. And so pretty much the value of the Bitcoin at the time it was seized last week marks the Justice Department's largest ever financial seizure. So this is the most amount of money they have taken from criminals that have made money from criminal activity. And pretty much the Justice Department said Tuesday. We were recording this on Thursday, so we're not really that late. It's pretty still recent. That's why we're making this our Bitcoin bulletin for today. But the Justice Department said Tuesday it seized over $3.6 billion worth of digital currency stolen during a hack of a cryptocurrency exchange, and all suspects, given the Bonnie and Clyde kind of intro that we did. And also the value of the cryptocurrency at the time it was seized last week, just like I said earlier, it marks the largest ever financial seizure by the Justice Department, which goes to show how influential and how much Bitcoin has grown when you compare to other currency, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to seize this much money from criminals in crypto because they only have to transfer it from like wallets to wallet, if that makes sense. Whereas if we're like, I feel like illegal drug activity, if they like take a drug lord's money, they physically have to take cash, which is pretty hard to do.
And then
which makes sense why this is the like largest seizure ever.
Yeah, and then their addresses track everything pretty much. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like a constant paper trail, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I know you said two suspects. So who are these suspects exactly?
So pretty much there are two suspects tied to the cryptocurrency exchange hack, and the first one is, I'm gonna get these completely wrong because they're non-English names, but the first one is Elia Lichtenstein, 34 years old, and his wife Heather Morgan, 31. Both were arrested without incident Tuesday morning. So pretty much the government already knew that they were directly tied to this, so they went ahead and arrested them. And pretty much who these people are is they've kind of become crypto influencers in the space, and they've also been showing off their love for crypto technology, as well as traveling all over the world, kind of flexing, I guess, their crypto money, kind of flexing their status in the crypto market, if that makes sense. And their content is kind of out there. Like when you look at them, you're like, there's no way these people like seized this much Bitcoin, but yes, they did. And it's crazy to see how smart weird people can be in the crypto space, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, stealing from a bank, I mean, it's kind of obvious. You just, like, take money or you take whatever. So how did these suspects actually take all that crypto?
So, pretty much, according to court documents, the suspects allegedly conspired to launder nearly 120,000 Bitcoin stolen from a Bitfinex platform. I think Alex and I both have used Bitfinex in our kind of crypto journey. It's a great kind of starting point in the crypto market to kind of just purchase crypto with pretty much a debit card or a credit card.
Yeah.
And in 2016, Bitfinex was hacked pretty much, and after a hacker breached the system, the exchange where it transfers different Bitcoin and other currencies to people's wallets, it initiated more than 2,000 unauthorized transactions. And pretty much what these transactions, the breach of the transactions did is that pretty much these, the Bonnie and Clydes, I'm going to call them because their names are going to be impossible to say, but they pretty much had the Bitcoin put to their accounts. Like, it wasn't all the Bitcoin because it obviously is not all 2,000 authorized unauthorized transactions worth, but they are tied to receiving some of the Bitcoin during the hack. And also, the transactions included the use of computer programs to rapidly automate Bitcoin movements and deposits to try to conceal where they're coming from, with some funds eventually landing into the financial accounts that were tied to the Bonnie and Clyde of crypto. So pretty much just like we said, or just like Alex said earlier, it's your Bitcoin wallet's like a paper trail. That's pretty much exactly how they got caught.
Yeah.
They just tracked it, like, okay, this went to this wallet. Okay, here we go. They're them. And now they are arrested, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm assuming they're going to jail, right?
You would think that, like, I would just like assume it's like, oh yeah, you stole so much money from people. Yeah,
that's a lot.
And actually, they currently at the current moment we're recording this, they are scheduled to not go to jail.
Really?
So pretty much the judge, so it's kind of crazy how the justice system works. But the judge set a bond price of $5 million for Mr. Liechtenstein and $3 million for Mrs. Morgan. So obviously, if they're money laundering, they definitely have money that the government didn't seize. I wouldn't be too surprised if they get out instantly. They just maybe sell some of their Bitcoin they found, or they just sell some of that Bitcoin that they just miraculously came upon. Especially if they're money laundering it, they have probably like 35 different wallets that all have Bitcoin in it. But the judge also ordered the couple not to have any access to the internet, or and also prohibited them from conducting any cryptocurrency transactions. Which, when reading this article for the Bitcoin Bulletin, I was like, how in the world is someone gonna block someone from using the internet? Like, everything's on the internet.
They don't want them to steal no more Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. I understand that, but it's just kind of funny to say. It's like a white line. It's like, how are they gonna, like, if they want to call an Uber, like, how they're gonna have to connect to the internet? Like, if they want to do anything in normal life, you have to connect to the internet. I guess you could get all your news from TV. Yeah. I guess you could. If like they can't use Waze, like, that's the internet. Like, they can't drive anywhere. Like, they can't get directions, which is crazy to think. But I mean, hopefully they obviously deserve it from stealing millions of dollars and billions of dollars from people. But it's just kind of weird to make a rule like that if there's really no kind of point to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's just crazy that they're not going to jail or going to face any time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think, especially I guess you can consider, since their like cryptocurrency hack or whatever isn't tied to any violence, if that makes sense. It would kind of ease their sentence a little bit more. And also, a bond price of $5 and $3 million kind of offsets the charges they would receive. Yeah. But it's crazy to me that they didn't even spend, like, I would expect like a year in jail with a $5 million bond, if that makes sense. It's crazy to me. It's just crazy. how different judge. I mean, it's another reason why there's so much human error, and everyone has different opinions. Like, they could have gotten a different judge. It could have been a Wednesday that got arrested, and there was a different judge on Wednesday, and guess what? That judge thought they decided they deserved to go to jail. So it's just kind of crazy to think, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So, if they're not going to jail, what's going to happen to them? What are they going to do?
So pretty much, since they're not going to jail, they're currently facing charges relating to conspiracy to commit money laundering and conspiracy to defraud the U.S. But they were not charged with any of this after their kind of connections to the Bitfinex hack. So I guess they're kind of just they would have to live on some type of house arrest with no internet access. So I guess they're just free but not really free, free but restricted, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they deserve it. I mean, I'll put my foot down on this one. Yeah.
That was so much money that they took from people.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, and also, so what has this Bitfinex? You would expect Bitfinex to come out and kind of make a statement about this, and pretty much the Hong Kong-based digital cryptocurrency exchange, which Bitfinex is based in Hong Kong, it said that it was hacked in 2016, causing the price of Bitcoin to sharply drop. And at the time of the hack, the Bitcoin stolen was valued around 70 million. So it's crazy to see how a hack in 2016 worth 70 million, with an M, is now worth 3.6 billion. So it's kind of, Bitfinex didn't really talk much about it. They kind of just want to stay anonymous. I mean, or just stay out of it, which that makes sense. You don't really want your if I had a business, I wouldn't want my business getting hacked to be all over the news and make a statement about it. But it's just kind of crazy to see the price change throughout the years, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a ton of money. You'd think they'd try. I wonder if they're gonna up security measures. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely upped security measures since this. I mean, you kind of learn from your mistakes, if that makes sense, especially in the crypto space. And this was 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
No, 6, I think. So
somewhere around there.
Yeah, you kind of just have to take it in stride, if that makes sense, and continue on.
Yeah, for sure. So, why is this news important to the future of crypto? Will it affect how different companies look at crypto?
So obviously you can look at this from many angles, but my main angle I'm looking at this from is that who runs the Justice Department? And guess what? The Justice Department now pretty much is the owner of $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin. The U.S. government.
Wow, that's I didn't know that.
Guess what? The U.S. government technically has a wallet with around 3 billion Bitcoin.
I want to see that wallet really bad.
Bro, I just want to see who controls it. That's my thing. It's if there's a tech nerd in the Justice Department that understands how to do it, but no one else knows, how much money they could, obviously they probably won't because their life's on the line, but just one couple clicks of a button and they are now the owner of billions of dollars. But according to NBC, where I got the majority of this information from for the episode, the Bitcoins are still in the government's possession for bureaucratic quotation mark reasons. So obviously my viewpoint of this is the government understands that cryptocurrency is valuable.
Yeah.
There's a reason that so many cryptocurrency exchange CEOs and large people in the crypto space got called to Congress, I think around December or early January. It's because the government wants to learn more about it. The government wants to be able to make money off of it. The government wants to be able to track it. They don't want, because they see all this money being made and they're like, whoa. We deserve our cut. Yeah, what are y'all doing? We deserve our cut. So, obviously, this is very bullish in my opinion, because when the government's involved, more and more people will get involved, more faith will be in the market, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, if Uncle Sam has a Bitcoin wallet, more and more people will begin to venture and do more research. And also, like, the government, I mean, obviously the government, I guess it doesn't really matter if it makes money on its Bitcoin investment, but like the human nature of investments, no one in government's gonna want to lose like this, if that makes sense. If someone is tied to the Justice Department in some way, shape, or form, and they maybe control it or have a big like presence or big influence, they're not gonna want this to shrink to zero. I mean, obviously the government can kind of just make their own money, but they would obviously not want to lose the $3.6 billion they have. That would suck.
Yeah, that would
especially
be very bad.
Valuable.
Yeah.
But I did see on some websites that sometimes the U.S. government will auction off some of their kind of seizures from illegal activities, so they could technically sell some of this Bitcoin, but I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to sell $3.6 billion pretty quickly. So
yeah,
we will see. And obviously, if there's any updates on this, we will definitely keep the audience updated and informed, because this is kind of an important topic when the government owns cryptocurrency, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, Alex, is there any we kind of covered all the main points of this crypto Bonnie and Clyde is what I like to call it, because it's more fun than saying the Justice Department took Bitcoin from people, but seized
Crypto Heist.
Yeah, Crypto Heist. Bonnie and Clyde Crypto Heist. That's a pretty good name. I actually, that's gonna be the name of this episode. Bonnie and Clyde Crypto Heist. Bitcoin Bulletin, February 10th.
New GTA Heist.
Alex, is there anything else you want to ask before you head out?
Nope, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed this episode of NFT Nation's Bitcoin Bulletin. We're trying to kind of crank these out every time there's a huge kind of movement in the market, because just like because the audience deserves to get the information as quick as possible, and that's what we're here to do. Obviously, we are not a $1 million news recording studio, so it may take us a day or two to kind of understand everything and get it out. But that's our goal here, is to inform everyone, give the best quality and the best timing as possible.
So yeah, guys, if you want to support us, make sure you get us 5 stars on Spotify. That'd be awesome if you guys can do that. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM us on Instagram or TikTok at NFT_nation_podcast. That helps out a lot, and it lets us know what you guys want to hear and anything that may help. So thanks for listening, guys.